So, for years, Anthony Edwards was a walking highlight that would do things that made people jump out their seat.
First half, another turnover for Utah. Edwards gets it back and threw it down and one.
Yeah, but now things are quite different. Ant has totally transformed his game, so he's now a multi-level threat on the floor, and trust me, this isn't me saying that he still can't provide us those highlights. Because here when he gets the ISO versus the big, Ant uses that combo handle to shift Kyle out the way, and with the runway clear for him, it's time to go take off. Plays like that are what we normally see from Edwards in years prior, but now he's breaking down defenders not with just brute force and athleticism, as it's more about patience, timing, and confidence. When you start to understand that defenders will bite hard at every move you do, this is when you use it to your advantage by all out shaking them to become open. And now with George hung up behind the screen and Edwards wide open behind the 3-point line, you might as well chalk it up for 3 points. This ability to move without the ball makes it to where defenders can't help off or lose track of him on the floor, or else he'll navigate to a spot before you can get there quick enough, and now you're watching the ball drop through the basket. But hey, not only will Edwards beat them from behind the 3-point line with his movement, as he'll use that deep ball threat to pull you out far to then burst right past you to receive the ball on the cut, and in past times, we probably would have seen Edwards soar in the air and try to put Vando on a poster. But with a more refined game over the years, here's where you can use that Euro to evade the help defense to go places off the glass. This navigation skill is key for Edwards, as it allows the Wolves to use him in different actions that don't involve him having the ball in his hands initially. But ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning of something special, because when the Wolves place the ball in their star's hands, it doesn't matter where he's at on the floor, the defense is simply in trouble. Say for instance he catches on the run near the baseline, well with some good advice from Michael Jordan to not put his butt on the defender and instead use his upper body to create that separation, and uses one bump to get into the paint and then a second bump to hop right into that jumper over the top of the defense. Now if it's not him operating in that in-between area, then Edwards can quickly spot when he has a slower defender in front of him, so he now knows he can attack going left towards the basket. At this point, it's all about beating the help defender once getting there, so with pure strength, he just bullies Austin Reeves out the way to get the layup. All of this here sets up his outside game, so now when defenders worried about that drive, they'll be extra cautious when it comes to giving up a lane, so that's why you see Mikal Bridges already sliding hard when Ant initiates the attack. But here's where you can flow right into a crossover to shift your defender, and this one right here is straight cash. From deep this season, Edwards is shooting 50% on 8 threes per game, and trust me, he's not afraid to make the defense pay at any moment. Right here when he catches at the logo versus the Kings, Zach LaVine is over the 3-point line, so in theory, this is a solid position to be in. But the thing is, when you're guarding a highly confident sniper, you can't allow any room for them to get comfortable to pull up, so this is where Zach learns that lesson from 30 feet out. When you watch Edwards, he'll make it look like another walk in the park when he's launching it from deep, such as here, you'll notice that he changes the pace to then snatch Laurie back before drilling it right over the top of him, and boy oh boy, when he starts cooking with that handle to then flow into a step back, I want you all to look at how much space he created. Now you're probably like, well he didn't create that much space, and yeah, that's the point. Grant is literally right over him on this contest, but when you've been working on your game to become elite at all levels, this is when you don't even see the contest.
Works Edwards, step back, good closeout. A vertical by Grant, a better shot.
I know some people will look at the NBA today and say guys are just launching a whole lot of threes carelessly, they're not even trying to drive. But honestly, it's more about making the defense pay for every little mistake they make. Like when getting out on the fast break here, the first thing you must do in basketball is stop the ball. But as you can see, nobody ends up getting in front of Edwards as he pushes up the floor. Now at this moment, not only is Ant open to take the 3 of his own, but with the defense not making a real effort to match up amidst the chaos, they leave DiVincenzo wide open on the wing who Ant could have sent the ball to as well. But hey, this time he decides to let it fly himself. Other times, it'll be even more blatant that a team doesn't care at all, as all 5 Sacramento defenders have their attention on Ant, but not a single one steps up before it's too late.
Fouled. Edwards walks into the 3 ball and cashes out.
So instead of it being reckless shooting, I instead look at this as basketball made simple by way of improvement. Because if Ant couldn't shoot the ball as good as he does, then defenders would have the luxury of stepping back and not being too concerned about his shooting. But me and you both know that's not the case, so when he uses some contact to make his defender have to run into the screen while receiving the handoff, everything at this point is up to the big as if this play ends good or bad for the defense. I understand that you want to take a step back or two to combat the drive since his side is wide open to attack, but this here is exactly why shooting the ball at a high level becomes a major problem for the defense. Now I get it, some people hate the use of screens as it can seem like a player can't get open on their own and that this is all a bailout for him. But trust and believe, Anthony Edwards is far from one of those guys. But hold on 1 second. You know I don't really have too many sponsorships or nothing, so I need y'all to subscribe and watch to the end of the video. That does a whole lot for me. Now let's get right back into it. When you put Edwards on an island to go score, this is when things get nasty. Ant has a 27% isolation rate while scoring 1.07 points per possession on these actions. This here puts Ant as the #1 isolation scorer in the league currently, so it's safe to say you don't want to be caught defending on that island alone, because if you are, Edwards will tie together a handle to make you cha-cha slide and you can kiss this one goodbye.
Step back three, down the barrel. Amazing. 29.
Anytime a defender is all alone while Ant has space to operate is a recipe for disaster. And I get it, this might be a little push off, but to me, I call this physical basketball. And if you're not ready to absorb the contact and give some back, well, you might as well just end up on a highlight reel.
Edwards extends, creates space.
This isolation scoring of his isn't just limited to his outside shooting, because he has no problem sizing up a defender while making his move late in the game. And I mean, look at all this space he created off this step back to knock down the jumper. When we talk about handles, he's not really brought up in the conversation, but he truly keeps that ball in a string, as this grants him these open shots off the snatchback, and if you continue to watch him, you'll notice that he sees the angle he could attack, and for the defense, they know this as well. So that's why his decision to snatch back is not only made because he doesn't want to get funneled into a bad situation, but also because he can use the defender's momentum against themselves before he snatches back to create that separation, and right here, this is pure money. All of this here isn't just a coincidence. Ant has spent countless hours in the gym training that shot, and not only that, you can also immediately tell that his footwork has been a point of emphasis when it comes to his shot creation. For the defense, it's extremely tough that they now have to play Edwards as one of the best shot creators in the league, or else he'll make them look silly from mid-range or deep, but there's one thing they can't forget, and that's that Ant can still get downhill with the best of them to capitalize. With that same handle used to get open from deep, he can use it to change directions abruptly on his defender, and like earlier, it's all about how he's going to beat the help defender now. So when reflecting on that footwork, you're going to see Ant use choppy steps to keep Josh Hart guessing on the attack, and at the very last second, he serves that Euro going back the other way to get inside for the and one. To build on this further, Edwards will be out far with the ball with some aggressive pressure on him, but instead of rushing and getting out of character, he first uses that jab step to give himself some space. He then jabs once more to get his defender leaning right before attacking left, and this here is all a setup, because now his man will be trying to recover hard, so that's when you cross back over, giving yourself the advantage on the attack, and man oh man do I miss these poster dunks at this moment. But honestly, it's much smarter to avoid the contact while extending far out to kiss this off the glass. As the season continues though, I'm sure we will see Ant deliver some impactful slams that makes the crowd gasp and all.
Will Hardy as
But right now, his main focus is to put the ball in the basket at all three levels so he can be an all-around threat on the floor. No longer are the days where Ant is just some guy who will punish you inside and be on the highlights, as Edwards is now a legitimate shot creator who is raising the bar each and every time he steps on the hardwood. If you want to see more Anthony Edwards analysis throughout the season, comment Ant down below and also something that you like about his game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.